Kwento ng bagong pananaw sa produksyon, malakas ang kooperasyon. Katuwang ng mga magsasaka, pamahalaan at pribadong sektor. Dadagdagan ang kaalaman sa kabuhayan, sa negosyo pahuhusayin ang kakayahan. Angkop at bagong teknolohiya, subsidyo, patubig at infrastruktura. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa, masaganang ani, mataas na kita, maunlad na buhay ng mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa, masaganang ani, mataas na kita, maunlad na buhay ng pangarap.
Magandang hapon po sa lahat ng ating mga viewers sa ATI Bicol Sarabay Channel. Ngayon po ay nasa segment na po tayo ng Hataw na Pananim, High Value Crops Hour. So for this segment po ay tatalakayin po natin yung patungkol naman sa cacao production or yung cacao cultural practices and yung processing. So para po sa ating mga nanonood, yung mga interested po sa cacao production, stay tuned po kayo And for this afternoon or for this segment ay makakasama po natin, napakaswerte po natin dahil makakasama po natin ang isa po sa award-winning actress, award-winning farmer ng Bicol. Pride po siya ng Bicol region. So napakaswerte po natin dahil kasama po natin si ipapakilala ko po sa inyo ng maigi yung ating makakasama o yung ating speaker for the cacao production. So I have with me po, siya po ay isang award-winning chef, and siya po ay farmer, hindi lang halata na farmer si ma'am, but farmer po siya. Nag-hands-on po talaga siya sa kanyang farm. Ipapakita po namin yung farm niya and how she do, kung paano po ba siya magtanim or paano ba siya mag-hands-on sa kanyang sariling farm. And si ma'am po ay isa din pong entrepreneur. Kasi hindi lang siya nagpo-produce ng cacao, but of course ay nagpa-processing na din siya and ibinibenta na niya. May market na din siya ng kanyang cacao. So may value adding na din si ma'am. So si ma'am din po ay isa founder ng The Cacao Project, and ang pinaka-ultimate aim po niya sa kanyang project, tama po ba ma'am, ay magkaroon or motivate yung ating mga farmers, at the same time ma-sustain natin yung production.
That's right.
ng not only cacao but of course the other commodities or crops. But basically nakatuon si ma'am ngayon sa cacao production. So si ma'am din ay awardee or honoree din po siya ng Forbes Asia Under 30. So siya po ay awarded as the Young Champion of the Earth under United Nations Environment Program. Wow, congratulations ma'am for this great achievement. Siya din po ay awarded as the Outstanding Farmer of the Year 2018.
That's right.
So, sino po yung nagbigay nito, ma'am?
It was from, I think it was from Harvesters, and it was Land Bank was another awarding body. It's a couple of organizations banded together to support our farming community.
Nice. So, hindi lang po talaga si ma'am farmer, but of course awardee din po siya sa kanyang tinatahak na pagfa-farming. So si ma'am din po is awardee, tama po ba, ng Friend of Humanity awardee under the Friendship Ambassadors Foundation.
That's right.
So, yun po yung napakaraming achievement ni ma'am pagdating po sa farming, not only sa farming but of course yung engagement niya sa community. So, napakaganda ng impact ng ating kasama po ngayon, not only dito sa kanyang community dito po sa San Fernando, Camarines Sur, but of course I think outside the country. I think si ma'am ay lumalabas din ng ating bansa at nag-i-empower ng iba't iba ng mga farmers sa ibang bansa, like yung sinabi mo kanina, pumunta ka ng India,
That's right.
Thailand, just to empower other enthusiasts, kumbaga. So for this afternoon po, for this segment po ng humahataw na pananim ng Under the High Value Crops Hour, ay itatalakay po natin yung patungkol sa why venture in cacao production. Ano po ba yung benefit na makukuha po natin? Ano po ba yung kagandahan ng pagbe-venture into sa pagkakakao? Ano ba yung potential, the benefits in venturing in cacao production? So ano pa ba yun, ma'am, na itatalakay natin? I think how to start.
How to start?
How to start the
Paano magsimula ng kakawan?
cacao. Yan. So, si ma'am po ay i-repeat ko na lang po, from San Fernando, Camarines Sur, and hindi ko pa pala nasabi yung pangalan mo, ma'am. Siya po si Ma'am Luis Mabolo. Yan. So, ma'am, may gusto ka bang sabihin before we start?
Oh, well, I'm just really excited kasi, of course, napaka-important sa akin yung farming and agriculture. And I think importante din na inspire natin ang youth at saka yung mga viewers na agriculture is a very high-earning venture or an industry, and there's a lot of opportunity para sa ating lahat na pwede tayong yumaman sa agrikultura. And you don't have to think of it na, obviously, sa mga Filipinos, may mga stigma, cultural stigma, sasabihin ng mga people sa school na kung hindi ka mag-aral na mabuti, pupulitin ka sa kangkungan, or mga ngamote ka. And we have these deep cultural stigmas na gusto kong matanggal, especially with our viewers, na agriculture matters, importante siya para sa ekonomiya, important siya, kailangan natin kumain, and more young people should go in there. And may existing image na tayo of agriculture that we want to change. Gusto natin i-change yan and show people that agriculture can be fabulous. You can have fun at your farm and it's fun and engaging.
Yes. So, si ma'am kasi ay young enthusiast, so gusto niya din i-empower yung ating mga kabataan na kumbaga, kasi yung mga kabataan natin ngayon ay kumbaga tinuturing na nila na yung agriculture is a dirty work, so konti na lang yung nagbe-venture in agriculture. So mabuti na meron po tayong katulad ni Ma'am Luis na andyan to encourage the youth para mag-venture pa din in agriculture kasi may pera sa agrikultura.
That's right. Totoo yan.
So, ibibigay ko na po ulit sa inyo si Ma'am to discuss to us or i-share din niya yung mga best practices niya or experiences niya sa pag-venture in cacao. So, may venture nga po ba sa cacao, ma'am? Ano po ba yung industry na meron sa cacao and ano po ba yung kagandahan nito?
Well, with cacao kasi, napaka-high value ng crop niya. And not only is it high value, meron na siyang market internationally. Ang daming may gustong bumili ng cacao. Ang dami ng deficit ng cacao globally. Ngayon, there's millions of tons of deficit of cacao. Kasi grabe yung demand, over millions of tons of chocolate yung pinoprocess ng mga chocolate manufacturers just to meet the demand of chocolate worldwide. Pero konti lang yung nagpo-produce. And more importantly, yung mga existing leading producers, hindi nila ma-meet yung demands ng chocolate ngayon, especially since it's growing. More people want chocolate. Diba? If you go anywhere, if you tanungin mo yung mga tao, gusto mo ba ng chocolate? Of course, everyone loves chocolate. It's a universally loved food. Pero we can't continue to meet the demands because of the existing unsustainable agriculture practice. So only a few places around the world can produce chocolate. Places in Africa, Latin America, here in Asia and the Pacific. Konti lang yung mga bansa. And the Philippines, as one of them, were perfectly situated near the equator para gumawa ng cacao. And since there's only a few countries that can make it and a few countries that can make it well and sustainably according to the quality, then why don't we do that? Because there's a lot of people who want to buy it, but we just have to meet that demand and connect ourselves with them. So yan yung may opportunity sa cacao, especially with establishing a cacao farm. And you can earn quite a lot because it's a high value crop.
Yes.
Maraming demand, of course, and then konting supply, it'll go higher. And there's an existing kind of price range for chocolate. Na makikita mo naman online sa Bloomberg, kung hindi mo alam kung gaano ka yung presyo ng cacao, mag-google ka lang, Bloomberg cacao price commodity, and makikita mo doon. And it's a pretty high price compared to most crops that we're already farming right now.
So, yun nga po, sabi po ni ma'am, we have the demand for cacao.
Yes.
Nga lang, konti yung nagpo-produce po nito. That's why, dito sa San Fernando, Camarines Sur, ayun ang ini-strengthen nila. Yun ang, kumbaga, majority na ata dito or yung mga farmers dito ay nagpo-produce na talaga or nagtatanim na ng cacao.
That's right.
So, basically po kasi, syempre po yung cacao, kung hindi po alam ng karamihan, yun po yung ginagamit na para po makapag-produce po tayo ng mga chocolates,
cacao butter.
So yun po yung pinaka-basic na raw material na kinakailangan po natin para makapag-produce po tayo ng mga chocolates. So yun po yung kagandahan din ng pagbe-venture natin sa cacao kasi may demand po siya, and then there is a sure market for the cacao.
Definitely.
So dito po sa San Fernando, Camarines Sur ay meron si ma'am na simula na project po niya. Tinawag po itong The Cacao Project.
That's
Tama
right.
po ba, ma'am? I think ito yung ngayon na pangalan niya. I think papalitan mo din po ito. So, ano po ba yung background, ma'am, nitong The Cacao Project po ninyo dito sa Camarines Sur, San Fernando, Camarines Sur?
So yung objective namin sa Cacao Project ay mag-establish ng mga sustainable, resilient livelihoods. Kasi a lot of our farmers, every year, na-affect sila ng typhoons. And it started yung project na to dahil natamaan kami ng mga typhoons. And we wanted to diversify our income streams and have more opportunities for different types of crops. We want to diversify the crops. We wanted to establish sustainability and resiliency within the town. So our objective was to create resilient, sustainable livelihoods and make sure that the farmers are successful with that venture, na hindi lang magsimula, pero magko-continue siya indefinitely at yumaman yung mga farmers dito for that matter. So it started there, and ngayon, we're still continuing. It's about our going on to our 4th year, and we're very optimistic and looking forward to many productive times to come and productive harvests especially.
Correct. So, dito po kasi sa kanila, ay hindi lang po talaga sila yung nagpo-produce, hindi lang sila yung nagtatanim, but yung mga farmers din po dito, yung mga nasa community, within the community of San
Fernando,
or sa barangay lang po ba na to, or
buong municipality?
Buong municipality. Narinig niyo po buong municipality ay ini-encourage po nila or nag-venture na po ngayon into cacao production.
Yeah.
So, ngayon po ay lumalabas na sila Ma'am Luis yung consolidator
Yes.
ng kanilang mga products.
That's
Tama
right.
ba?
So we're hoping to consolidate para ma-market natin ng efficiently, and we're able to get a very good price sa mga harvest nila when we market it abroad. Kasi if we consolidate and be able to sell na maramihan, mas maraming madidemand mo na price, especially kung maganda yung quality and consistent yung quality ng mga ginawa ng mga farmers dito.
Correct. So, basically, sila po yung nagko-consolidate. So, binibili po nila yung mga cacao na pinuproduce po ng ating mga farmers dito po sa municipality ng San Fernando. And then, syempre, yung kagandahan po dito ay yung mga nagpo-produce po ng cacao dito sa municipality ng San Fernando ay may sure ng market.
That's
And
right.
sila na po yun. Sila Ma'am Luis na dito po sa Barangay Pangukid, San Fernando. So, Ma'am Luis, tanong ko lang po, paano po ba yung pag-start naman itong production na to, cacao production? Ano po ba yung mga kailangan, mga siguro ilan po yung possible na investment na kailanganin po natin para makapag-start po tayo ng dito po sa plantation ng cacao?
So with starting your plantation of cacao, first of course kailangan natin ng lupa. And then there's about 4 or 5 steps to get there. You have to do a situational analysis. Pwede ba tayo magtanim on that land? So for example, magpa-soil test ka muna. You can have soil tests and, you know, consult your local DA and figure it out. Kung if you see that, you know, your land needs more tilling, it needs more fertilizers, you can adjust from there. And of course, if you have like sloping lands, you need to start terracing it para diretso yung lupa na you have to plant on. Second part is definitely establishment of shade. So you want to make sure, if you have an existing coconut plantation, for example, pwede ka mag-intercrop ng cacao because you already have shade. So you want to make sure na hindi bare or, you know, tapat na tapat sa araw yung lupa mo. You want to make sure that there's some shade. For us, we started with banana trees, and we had other trees, for example, and part of the cacao farm, we already had ipil trees, coconut trees, and that was a perfect place to plant cacao because it's already intercrop. And if you find that there's growing fruit trees, for example, my coconut, my mangga, my madre de cacao especially, you know na perfect siya for growing cacao. And the next step, of course, is holding. So you would have to dig your holes. Dapat naka-prepare na. And it's usually about the size of your fist down to your elbow. And the same, that's the width and that's the depth. And you want to make sure that it's ideally, mas maganda na mas wide at mas malalim yung dinig mo na hole. That's perfect for cacao, and you want to make sure, like, the wider it is, the better, because you have more space for the roots to grow. So that's another step. The next step, of course, would be planting. And planting is essential because you have to make sure that when you get your seedlings, they've already been acclimatized to your environment before you plant them. And a big part of that is leaving it there. So pagkuha mo, pag-deliver sa'yo ng seedlings, you leave it there for about 24 hours at the minimum para ma-acclimatize siya sa lugar. You can leave it for several days, and then you plant it. You mix in the topsoil, so make sure pag-dig mo ng holes, you save the topsoil and you save the soil that's on the ground, and you put the topsoil sa ilalim ng hole. And then haluin mo yung regular soil with, say, fertilizers, yung manure. If you have vermicast, you can use that. And that's when you plant your seedlings. And you want to make sure na pag-plant mo, 80% of shading yung nandun. So usually we use fronding of anahaw leaves, kung meron kang leaves ng coconut, basta malaking leaf na pwede mong i-cover siya. And it's an east-west orientation. So we call that fronding. And that's the first steps, of course, in putting up a cacao farm. Depending on the size of your land, like depende sa gaano kalaki yung lupa mo, it depends on your investment too. And a lot of our Department of Agriculture is also providing seedlings for cacao. But cacao loves an area na may iba pang crop. For example, you have coconuts. If you're growing anything else, except for usually mga cassava or calamansi, it doesn't like those. So you should just kind of analyze kung ano yung na-grow na sa area mo. But usually, if you have a madre de cacao, that's why it's called madre de cacao, kasi mother of cacao. You can perfectly grow cacao trees in your area if you have madre de cacao.
Okay. So, yung sinabi po ni Ma'am, sa pag-start po ng pag-plant ng cacao, basically, unang i-consider po natin ay yung soil po natin. So, kailangan po natin, kailangan po magpa-soil analysis po tayo.
Yes.
Sa tulong po ng, pumunta lang po kayo sa Municipal Agriculture's Office para matulungan po kayo sa pagpapa-soil analysis po ng inyong mga tataniman ng inyong cacao para at least sure po kayo na pag tinanim nyo po yung inyong cacao ay mabubuhay po talaga siya. Pero ma'am, I think kahit siguro hindi naman ganun kagandahan yung lupa, pero we can put naman siguro or pwede po tayo magdagdag ng mga fertilizer, So, separate po yan. May separate discussion po tayo dyan, for the cultural management practices para po sa, abangan nyo po sa next episode,
Yeah.
Didiscuss din po yun sa atin ni Ma'am and doon din po sa farm niya. So, next po ay dapat intercropping. Tama? Tama po, Ma'am. So, dapat yung cacao na itatanim po ninyo ay dapat
may mga shaded
area yung tataniman ninyo kasi I think hindi siya masyadong nagre-require na masyadong sunlight kasi
especially pag bata pa.
Pag bata pa kasi masisira yung 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 plant kasi pag overexpose siya sa sunlight. So, dapat itanim natin siya sa shaded area. So, usually tinatanim siya sa ilalim or sa baba lang ng ating mga nyugan. And then yung sinabi ni Ma'am, kung meron kayong Madre de Cacao, pwede din po yun. Basta basically po yung pagtanim ng cacao ay dapat nasa shaded area, yung mga may lilim. And then yung sinabi ni Ma'am, number 3 ay soil digging. So yung hole na. Gaano ba kalalim? Gaano nga po ba kalalim yun, Ma'am?
So it's yung length ng arm mo to yung elbow mo. And then it's that wide as well. Pero mas maganda na mas malaki yung nahukay mo na butas. Kasi it gives space na mag-grow yung roots ng cacao trees.
Okay. So yung butas po ng inyong tataniman na cacao ay dapat kasing, I think,
lalim
nito, arm natin, length natin. So, yun lang naman po. So, yun na po yung magiging measurement po ninyo in considering sa pagtanim na ng inyong cacao. And then, yung planting na sinabi ni Ma'am, yung planting ay 80% dapat ay shaded. Shaded.
Pag bagong tanim.
Pag transplant na po natin yung ating cacao plant, ay dapat 80% shaded siya. So, hindi 100% na-expose sa sunlight. So, pwede natin siyang tabunan nung anahaw.
Pwedeng anahaw or coconut or kahit anong leaves na meron kayo na maka-cover lang siya.
Para, kasi napakabata pa ng ating mga plants. So,
medyo kailangan mo na siyang masanay sa farm mo.
Sasanayin muna natin siya sa farm. So, yung sinabi mo, Ma'am, kanina na before siya i-transplant, ay dapat sanayin muna siya doon sa area.
Yes, that's right.
Sanayin muna siya doon sa area.
Mga dalawa or tatlong araw na nakatambak lang yun yung mga seedlings.
Okay. So, kung galing sa nursery yung inyong planting material, dadalhin nyo sa inyong farm. So, dapat 1 to 3 days na muna siyang naka-standby sa gilid. Yun po yung strategy para masanay na muna siya doon sa bagong environment niya, sa bagong place niya. And then, yung direction po ng ating pagtanim ay dapat Ma'am, east-west na...
East-west orientation yung pag-fronding, yung shading ng cacao. Kasi if you have, for example, ito yung dahon ng anahaw, ito yung tree, you want yung pag-rise ng sun tsaka pag-set niya, hindi siya masyadong natatamaan ng sunlight. So, dapat naka-cover siya.
Okay. So, number 1 talaga po na i-consider natin is yung sunlight. Hindi dapat siya directly na natatamaan ng sunlight. At least 80% na exposure sa sunlight, wag lang 100% kasi mamamatay yung may possibility na mamamatay yung yung plant.
Kasi yung root systems niya, napaka-gentle and napaka-delicate pa. Especially since 3 months old usually yung seedling na transplant. So, napaka-bata pa ng tree. Kailangan na medyo, you have to alagaan mo siya, talagang ingatan mo yung roots niya. And of course, gusto mo siyang pumunga at maging prosperous. So, kailangan na alagaan mo yung root systems niya para marami siyang makahagip na nutrients. Kasi kung direct yung sunlight sa kanya, mag-dry out yung soil sa paligid ng mga roots.
So, Ma'am, saan po ba kayo nakabili ng mga stocks, yung mga planting materials?
So at first, bumili kami sa Davao ng UF18 and BR25.
Davao?
Yes.
Davao pa po galing yung inyong mga planting material?
Yes.
Paano nyo po siya ibinyahe papuntang Bicol?
Well, meron silang isang sister na ibiyahe dito. And of course, stress na yung mga trees pagdating. So you have to really take care of it and leave them here. You can also get seeds. You germinate them for several days, about 3 or 4 days a week. Hanggang you can see nag-sprout na siya. And then pag nag-sprout, you mix it into very pure organic material like manure and mag-grow na yun. And you want to leave it under 30 to 40% shade for about 3 months hanggang maging parang lapis na yung stem niya. And then may mga 10 na siya na leaves. And then pwede mo na siyang i-transplant into your farm. So for us, after a couple months na feel namin na pwede na kami mag-plant ng sarili naming seedlings, we established a nursery. So yung nursery namin, we needed to establish a nursery na flat yung land, na patag, and then may water source. So you need a water source kasi you need to water them every single day, and you need 30 to 40% shade. So okay, it's not 80%, it's only 30 to 40. Yeah,
30 to 40% shaded.
that's right.
Yung ating planting material. So, kasi yung seedling material po natin sa kanila pala ay galing sa Davao pa. And now ay nagpo-produce na din sila ng sarili nilang seedlings. Yan po yung kagandahan kasi ano na po sila, kumbaga self-sustaining na yung kanilang farm. Sila na mismo yung nagpo-produce. But doon po sa gusto pong mag-venture, gusto mag-start ng cacao production, pwede po kayong pumunta na sa Department of Agriculture, sa region po, sa Pili. Nagbibigay po sila ng mga seedlings. Free seedlings po yun. Pwede po kayong pumunta doon at makahingi po ng mga free seedlings of cacao. So, kung wala po kayong kilala na nagbebenta ng cacao seedlings, pwede po kayong pumunta sa DA. Free po yun. Yung ginagamit nyo naman po ma'am dito na seedlings ay hindi po siya grafted. Ano po yung kagandahan ng grafted sa hindi grafted?
So, sa amin kasi, a lot of people are telling us na mas maganda daw yung grafted. Yung problema kasi namin, from my experience, pag tinanim namin yung grafted, napuputo yung grafted trees sa mismong pinagkabitan ng wood. So the problem is, pag nagkabagyo or humangin ng malakas, babagsak yung puno at napuputo siya. And we wanted to avoid that. So mas maganda sa amin yung mismong variety ng cacao, yun na itatanim mo. So we usually plant BR25 and UF18. And medyo mas matibay siya. Of course, mas matagal siya mag-fruit and mag-flower and compared to grafted. Pero at least it's more sustainable na mas tumatagal siya sa farm namin.
Okay. So sinabi mo din po ma'am kanina na pag hindi po kasi grafted, typhoon resilient siya, no?
Yes.
Kasi yung grafted, kapag binagyo, nahanginan, malakas yung hangin, napuputol. Kung saan kayo nag-graft, napuputol yung yung pinagdugtungan niya. So mas maganda pa din based on experience po nila ay yung natural, yung normal na cacao plant natin na hindi grafted. So yun yung magandang practice din po sa kanila na nga lang medyo matagal yung
mas matagal kasi yung natural process talaga ng growth ng cacao tree mo. Of course, it's give it 3 to 5 years depending on gaano kaganda yung cultural management and gaano kataba yung soil. So, of course, yung grafted, it depends. In Davao, they have studies na 1.5 year, nag-grow na siya, pero you have the risk of pwede siya maging weak. And medyo very labor-intensive yung mag-grafting because you have to get the rootstock, you have to put in the wood and i-tape mo pa, and then you're going to make sure that the tree is completely connected, nag-grow na siya. So we just want to be safe, on the safe side, and on the long-term sustainable side. Mas maganda sa amin, from our experience, is the non-grafted.
Non-grafted. So sa experience po nila yon, maybe kayo po ng mga viewers natin ay may best experience din po kayo or may mga practices din po kayo sa inyong pagtatanim ng cacao, but that's their practice dito po sa San Fernando na I think typhoon resilient. Pag binagyo ay I think last time yung bagyong Tisoy daw ay stand still pa din yung kanilang mga cacao kahit na napakalakas yung ating bagyong Tisoy last December. But
ang galing nga kasi nawawala na lahat ng mga dahon pero nandyan pa yung tree, yung mga bunga niya nandyan pa rin, and give it 1 or 2 months, okay na naman.
Maybe siguro kapag gusto nyong mapabilis yung pagkabunga, mas mabilis na bumunga yung inyong cacao, baka meron po ba kayo ma'am na mga ginagawa, na mga alternatives para mas mapabilis po yung pag-fruiting niya?
Oh, definitely. Kung gusto mo bumilis, alagaan mo talaga yung farm mo. Lagyan mo ng mulching, fertilize mo ng mabuti para mas tumaba yung tree. And of course, pruning is very important. Sa akin, favorite kong gawin talaga sa farm yung mag-pruning. Kasi ayaw mo maagaw yung mga nutrients ng cacao. So, kung i-cut mo yung, for example, may chupon, tanggalin mo lahat yan kasi inaagaw na yung nutrients. Tsaka yung mga leaves, ayaw mong dumami pa sa 100 na leaves. Kasi kung lahat ng mga leaves sobrang healthy, pero wala kang cacao pods, kasi inaagaw ng mga leaves, tsaka ng mga chupon, tsaka ng branches, yung nutrients. So, kung i-prune mo, at least yung nutrients mapupunta sa flowers, tsaka sa pods, and then mas tataba yung pods mo.
So, tandaan po na sa cacao production ay hindi po maganda na maraming leaves yung ating
tsaka
branches. Kasi nga, inaagaw po niya yung nutrients na meron po yung tanim. Kaya, mas matagal po or mahihirapan po kayo na sa pagpapabulaklak. Magbubulaklak din naman po siya, pero napakatagal or inaagaw po yung nutrient na meron po yung tanim. Kaya, yun po yung kagandahan, sinabi ni ma'am na mag-prune po tayo, or yung pagtanggal po natin ng mga sobra-sobrang mga leaves at yung kanya mga stem. So, yun po yung, tandaan nyo din po na mga pointers, po sa pagtatanim ng cacao, so, yung pag-prune. So, nakita namin yung practice ni ma'am, na-witness namin kung paano po siya mag-prune.
Kakalbuhin mo talaga yung
kakalbuhin mo yung yung mga leaves niya, kakalbuhin mo talaga para at least pag nagkaroon na siya ng flowers, nag-fruit na siya, ay talagang direkta nang mapupunta yung nutrient doon sa fruits.
That's right.
So, yun po, mag-prune po tayo palagi sa cacao production at sa cacao plantation po natin. Huwag po natin hayaan na palaging maraming leaves and stem po sa ating mga cacao tree.
If you buy seedlings, kasi seedlings, it's between 30 to 40 pesos per seedling.
40.
And per hectare, you want about 800 to 1,000 trees. So, depende din kung gaano kalaking lupa nyo, and kung paano, kung gusto niyo mag-sprout ng sarili nyong seedlings or bibili kayo. Of course, mapapamahal ka kung bibili ka ng seedlings sa malayo, tapos bibili ka pa ng lupa or something like that. Pero konti na, if you have land na pwede mong intercrop, tapos pwede kang manghingi ng seedlings sa DA, it's very little. Kung meron kang mga bakahan or mga fertilizers existing like manure, pag chickens ka, pwede mo i-collect yung mga manure nila, tapos yun yung panghalo mo for your fertilizer and pang mulching. So, there's very little investment sa long term. Pero at the start, of course, pag simula, that's the most investment is. Depending on the size of your land, and kung paano ka magsimula, of course.
Okay. So, yung mga possible na magiging expense niyo po dito ay yung sa cost on the stocks, doon sa plant mismo. Sinabi ni ma'am, nasa 30 to 40 pesos per seedling. And another na possible na magastusan nyo, syempre yung lupa na pagtataniman kung wala pa po kayo. So, yun po. And then,
another thing din is, kung may gusto kang equipment or anything for, like, sa farm ko, you need shovels and rakes. Kung meron ka na, then that's okay. And another thing is farm worker. So, ideally, per 3 hectares, isang farm worker for maintenance. And then, if you need to, for example, mag-grass cut or kung kailangan mo mag-harvest, tsaka ka na maghahanap ng farm workers na dadami pa. But per 3 hectares, isang person lang.
Laborer lang.
Yes.
So, lang pala, manageable. Sa 3 hectares, isang tao lang yung kailangan nyo para i-manage siya. And then, yung mga materials na kailangan pa, sa roll at pala, yun lang naman, basic na kailangan po ninyo para at least sa weeding. Kasi I think yung weed niya ay tatambak nyo lang din doon sa puno kasi that will serve as
organic matter and compost.
Na pag nag-decompose siya ay magiging fertilizer na din or abono po sa ating planting doon po sa ating cacao. So yun po yung mga po natin. Mga kakailanganin, we have the planting materials, of course, the soil na basically dapat yan ay consider po natin na kailangan pa nga po natin soil analysis sa tulong po ng ating Municipal Agriculture's Office, and then yung pala natin, yung asarol,
and pesticides kung may problema kayo sa pests, yun. Pero makakamura ka kung gagawa ka na ng sarili mong pesticides.
Yung mga bagay na po ito ay separate na i-discuss po natin sa susunod na mga episodes po nitong episode or segment po ng High Value Crops Hour.
Kaya stay tuned.
Stay tuned po. Ano po, wag po kayong hihiwalay sa ATI Bicol Sarabay Channel. Lagi nyo pong sundan yung aming episode dito po sa HBCDP Hour. So, meron ka pa po ba, ma'am, na gustong i-share sa ating mga viewers for this segment?
Well, I guess ang sasabihin ko na lang is, kung gusto niyo magtayo ng kakawan, I fully encourage you to, especially if you have an existing farm, ang gandang i-intercrop siya. And it's a very profitable kind of livelihood na idadagdag mo sa existing livelihood mo. And I mean, it costs very little to start. I mean, if you compare it to other things, pero maganda siyang pang pandagdag, pang diversify ng crops mo. Meron kang isa pang income stream. Especially kung gusto mo ng chocolate, gawa ka ng batero sa bahay, it's quite fun. And usually, ang dami na nating cacao trees dito sa Pilipinas, especially dito sa Bicol, diba? Lahat tayo sa bakuran natin, usually may cacao, we have memories with our lola na may cacao sila. So it's easy to propagate and napaka low maintenance niya dito kasi yung ecosystem natin, gusto niya yung humid, yung maulan, tsaka yung may existing trees, tsaka lush greenery na. So it's very quick and I feel like if you're very interested in it, subukan mo and just give it a try. It's really effective.
So, yun sabi ni ma'am po, i-try nyo po kasi napakadali lang po talagang i-manage. Konti lang na time ang kailangan po ninyo, except po doon talaga na dapat babantayan nyo po yung pag-pruning.
Pag-pruning tsaka pagbagong plant mo.
Yan, pagbagong plant, yan yung kailangan ng maraming time. Kailangan nyo pong tutukan. Kasi sa pag-prune, para maiwasan natin yung pag-agaw ng mga nutrients ng leaves. Para direkta po mapunta doon sa bunga yung nutrient from the soil.
Of course, the more time you put into it, mas marami yung bunga.
So, time din sa pag-aalaga ng ating cacao production. Kasi nga, the more time na ini-invest mo, syempre, mas maganda din po yung balik po sa atin. So, yun po yung mga sikreto po ng The Cacao Project po dito sa Pamukid, San Fernando, Camarines Sur.
So dito tayo sa farm, eco-cultural management tayo sa cacao tree. Ang kailangan natin gawin dito, mag-pruning. So you can see ito, may mga water sprout yung mga tree. Ang kailangan natin, i-cut yung mga water sprout dito sa branches. And ideally, kung may mga branches dito, you want to prune about 2 feet from the jorket. So, para may space yung flowers mag-grow dito sa branches ng tree. Cut natin dito. And then, make about 2 feet worth of space. So, pag nag-grow yung mga branches dito, especially yung pa-upwards na branch, tawag natin dun water sprout. And then, pag nandito sa ilalim, tawag natin chupon. And then, ayaw natin magka-chupon or water sprout kasi inaagaw yung mga nutrients ng tree for cacao and then hindi siya masyadong magpa-flower. And then, you want to look for the apical dominant branch. Yun yung pinakamatangkad na branch sa puno. And then, ika-cut mo din yun para hindi siya masyadong tumangkad.
So here we have what we use for fertilizing and mulching. So this one is manure, yung mga tae ng baboy, baka, and then may halo na siyang rice hull. Kasi yung mga baka namin, yung mga baboy namin, nakahiga sila sa mga rice hull para walang amoy. So this one, pag nag-decompose na siya, it will be very nutrient rich. And then ito yung mga vermi, which is very fine, nutrient-rich soil. And this is, what we do is we sprinkle this. Basically, sprinkle lang namin dito paikot sa tree. Okay. And, yeah, sa paligid din. And actually what we do is this. You can mix these together. And spread mo lang siya sa paligid ng tree. So around like a meter from the tree is ideal, and also by the roots kasi paikot din yung roots niya. And you can also mix it with its usual soil, yung mga soil na nandito, to evenly mulch and create a mound around the cacao tree to protect its roots and to make sure that there's always nutrients around it. So constantly, may mga nagre-replenish na nutrients in soil. This is going to be a very healthy tree.
Gano'n karami siya, and how frequent?
So this one, you can check. Part of it is like situational analysis. You can do this every 3 months or so. Or kung sa tingin mo medyo mahina na yung growth ng tree or kailangan na niya ng nutrients, pwede mong lagyan din. And basically, just put enough na parang you create a mound around the tree. So depende din from how much you have. And you also need to see kung ano kailangan ng tree, kung kailangan pa niya ng mga vermi, if it needs more fertilizers. Kasi minsan makikita mo naman na parang humihina yung mga leaves or mabagal na siyang mag-grow. So you just have to check. But ideally every 3 months or so you can do this. And then after that 3 months as well, pruning. And if you need to put more before 3 months is up, feel free to put some more. It depends as well on how your tree is faring. So really it's situational analysis. So kasama natin ngayon si Macmac. Siya magtuturo sa inyo kung paano yung mga concoctions niya for fertilizing. So Macmac.
Ito po ay FAG, pang po ito ng ng dahon, pang paganda po. Ito naman pong fermented fruit juice, FFG, pang paano po ito ng pampabulaklak. Saka po po ito anti-stress sa mga mga dahon po. Saka po maganda po ito kasi po siya, may po siya ng calcium pampa ng bunga, pampa dami.
So usually yan lang yung nyo. Yan lang nilalagay nyo.
Yes. So usually ito lang nilalagay. And then, Macmac, ano yung laman ng mga concoctions? Paano mo ginawa?
Ito po, tig-ferment ko po ito, bali 7 days. Ang kuyan po nito, banana, saka po papaya, saka po kalabasa. Ito po ang ginagamit na pang-spray po dito sa kakao para po mamulaklak. Ito naman pong FAG, po ito, fermented plant juice. Pampaganda po siya ng ng ganito ng mga dahon, pampatibay po ng kapit. Ito naman po ang FAG, naman po nito, saging, tapos po talbos ng kamote, saka po kangkong.
Anong saging yan?
Yung pong
Bunga, or
hindi po yung bunga, yung yung puno mismo.
so, yan. And then ano pa, molasses.
Opo, molasses pala. Molasses. Ang ano po dito, ang gagawa ko po dito, nilalagay sa mga ano, ferment ko po dito.
So usual yan lang ginagawa nyo na ano, na fertilizer. Saka, aside from, di ba, sa manure, then sa vermicast.
Right.
And then, how about on ano sa part ng ano, pest management?
Okay, yeah, for pest management, what we do is, for example, we have like a mix of chilies, garlic, and or if you want detergent or oil or dish soap, basta something with a strong pungent smell, and then you have dish soap or detergent para kumapit sa leaves, and then chili para it's like it has that sting, so hindi nalalapit yung mga insects sa mga dahon ng leaf, yung dahon ng cacao, or even on the pods if you have pods already.
So this is our nursery. So right now, medyo wala siyang netting ngayon kasi wala pa kaming tinanim. And ito pa lang yung mga natanim namin. Pero ideally, nursery should have nets for shading. You want about 30 to 40% shading for your seedlings. And you want them to be arranged in rows na ganito para easy silang bilangin and also mabilis yung turnover, pwede mong tinan. And for your planting, alam mo kung sinong sabay-sabay na tumubo.
So usually, how many in every block? How many?
So we have here, right now you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then around 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So 10 by 20. And you want to keep it kind of manageable para pwede mo pang ma-water. Ayaw mo yung sobrang, what do you call it, isang diretsong puro seedlings. Kasi minsan mapapabayaan na yung mga nasa gitna or makikita mo like this, they're not well taken care of. And the potting mixture that we have, so this one doesn't have any tanim yet. Pero these are pure organic waste, and yung mga manure, yung mga, what do you call that? Yung mga manure, compost. So it's pure. Gusto mo mataba yung lupa pag plant mo ng seeds. So when you have the cacao seeds, what we'll do is we'll germinate them for, say, 3 or 4 days. And then you want to plant it in this potting bag. And then it's about 3 months before it's ready for transplanting. So these ones, mga pwede na to eh. You want it to be about 3 months old. And ideally should have about 10 leaves. So here we have one. Tanggal yung potting bag because this is ready for transplanting. So dapat yung thickness ng trunk niya pencil sized, and then should have 10 healthy green leaves. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, magpas na sa 10. So this is already ready for transplanting. Pag tina-transplant mo siya, pagdating ng mga seedlings sa farm mo, you leave them for mga overnight, 3 or 4 days para ma-acclimatize muna siya sa weather and ecosystem ng farm. Tapos, i-plant mo na siya. And dapat before you get the seedlings, mag-holing ka na, mag-farm layouting na. So, naka-ready na yung farm, i-transfer mo na lang yung mga seedlings. So, this is one. And so these ones are all quite ready. They're about 3 months old. And then ideally organize them na lahat ng mga magkasabay na pinlant mo. They're all together. So you don't have anything mixed up.
So this is due for planting?
Yes, these are due for planting na. So you have strong leaves, and then medyo parang lapis na yung kapal ng trunk ng mga seedlings.
Approximately how many months?
So about 3 months old. 3 to 4 months, depending on how fat your soil is and how fast it grew. Pero usually 3 months lang, and then you transplant it. Ayaw mong maiwan dito yung mga trees, or else it'll just be stuck here, or masistunt yung growth niya. We actually have, dati nun may isang tree dito na naiwan, na cacao. Tumubo na siya dito, and then hanggang dito lang siya tumubo. So yeah, and if you want to have a nursery pala, dapat flat yung ground mo. there's no sloping, dapat flat siya. Kasi pag pa-slope din yung cacao tutubo. And you need to have good source of irrigation nearby. So every day, wino-water siya, and it has to be well taken care of kasi this is kind of the foundation of your future cacao farm.
How about the variety?
So our varieties are a mix of BR25 and UF18 here. And there's only about like 10 varieties that are really good for commercial cacao processing. So we stick to the commercial varieties, which are BR25 and UF18. And their kind of defining traits are like reddish, big green leaves.
So the capacity of this nursery?
So our capacity, once this is netted up, right now it's not, but our usual capacity at full working condition is 20,000 seedlings. So this is our water impounding facility, which is right next to our nursery, which is right here. So our nursery is on a flat land, and it has to be near somewhere that's well irrigated because the seedlings need to be watered every day, and it has to be in a moist environment. So it's important that we have this water impounding facility. Here's the source. The source is right there. And this is a solar panel which powers the pumping up into here. And no matter how much water comes out, it stays the same level, as in the water supply is just continuous. And this one sometimes gets really full. And so this is kind of saving it up and consolidating all the water.
The importance of having this to your nursery?
So this is really important for the nursery because nurseries need to be well irrigated. There needs to be a sufficient and constant water source because the seedlings need to be watered every day, and they need to be in a good moist environment that's shaded and that's rich for them growing. And since this is very nutrient-rich water, it's good for growing the cacao seedlings. Dito, ginamit namin yung mga bags ng mga pampakain ng manok o mga feeds. Ni-recycle namin as potting bags para efficient, tapos ma-reuse na siya. So this is basically seedlings. Dahil naka-quarantine kami dito, tanim lang kami ng tanim.
Pero the nursery is yung talagang nandoon?
Yung nandun, yung talagang nursery.
Dinadala na lang yun?
So dinadala namin doon. Tapos gina-germinate namin dito sa garage, and then pinatanim namin dito, and then dadalhin doon. And then of course dadalhin sa mga farms para itanim. So this guy.
Pero yung halimbawa, meron dito pupunta na gustong bibili or something?
Oh yeah, pwede nilang bilhin. Minsan pinapamigay namin yung iba, especially kung ayaw namin, hindi namin ma-plant lahat, and then medyo tumatanda na yung mga trees sa potting bags. We need to give them away na. So ipapamigay namin yung iba. Babuyang walang amoy, and then of course may mga rice hull para masaya yung mga pigs, tapos hindi mga amoy. And then kinukuha din namin to every now and again pag nag-decompose na yung rice hull. Tapos dinadala namin sa farm as our fertilizers, natural fertilizer, yung manure ng mga baboy. Yeah. Yung mga baboy, ginagawa namin bacon. Hello! Ayaw niya magpapet. Yung iba gusto. Si daddy nagbe-breed ng mga baboy. Tapos binibili ko sa kanya, ginagawa kong bacon. Tapos kinukuha namin yung soil tsaka manure at ginagamit sa kakawan. Para circular economy siya. Walang nasasayang. Tapos ito yung bakahan. So I don't know if you want to go in. It's really maputik. But what we do here, so this is the bakahan, and this is yung manure nila. So kino-collect namin to. Usually imbis na i-collect namin tapos ibibilad, hahayaan namin mabilad, and then i-collect namin, and then pwede na yung pang fertilizer. We put it in a tub. Lalagyan namin ng tubig para what do you call it? Masaturate ng water. And yan yung gamit namin na pang potting materials, pang fertilize, pang mulching sa kakawan. And in that way, walang nasasayang kasi this is free material na pwedeng gamitin. And napaka-nutrient rich ng tain ng baka. So we have about a couple dozen cows.
Araw or weeks para pwede siyang ma-harvest?
Oh, depends how hot it is.
Ilagay doon sa
We don't count it. Basta pag nandyan, tapos mabilad siya, tapos dry na siya. Parang yung mga to, sinashovel na namin. So, it's probably like a week or so. Basta natuyo na yung manure tsaka tain ng baka. And then, iko-collect na namin ito, isa-shovel. Tapos, i-consolidate sa isang malaking drum, lalagyan ng tubig, we'll leave it overnight or for a few days, tapos gagamitin na pang potting material. It's very simple. Make our lives easier. And here we have horses. So horse manure din, we use them. It's the same as the cow manure. We have 5 horses. They mainly are pets, pero once we harvest, papatrabahuin ko yung mga to. So,
parang anong ibig sabihin nung tatrabaho sila?
Sila yung bibitbit ng mga cacao pods.
Okay. So, dun sa farm?
Dun sa farm. Pero ngayon, they're spoiled pets of ours.
Ilan sila nga?
So we have 5. This is Caramel. This is Windsor. That's Pocholo. No, this is Scarlet. That's Scotland. That's Windsor. And that's Pocholo.
Puro siya lalaki?
Ito, 2 babae. And then yung 3 lalaki. Napakataba niya. Wala silang ginagawa. Patakbo-takbo lang dito. When they're here, patakbo-takbo, kain, tulog. Sabi ko, pag nag-harvest na kami ng kakao, tapos maramihan, ayan, ipapa-exercise ko sila. Sabi ko, wala kayong ROI, ha? Yeah, mga less than 1-year-old pa yan. Scotland. Anak ni Scarlet. Tsaka ni Pocholo. Yeah. Itong si Windsor tsaka si Scotland, magkapatid sila. Pero si Windsor, mga 2 years old na siya. And then si Pocholo, dito na. Pero yung dalawa, hindi. Ito, may nagbenta sa amin na, I don't know, basta binenta kay Daddy. Pagising ko sa umaga, meron na kami, si Pocholo. And then yung si Scarlet, nanggaling siya sa Karamoan.
Sinasakyan yun ba? Dito?
Minsan, yeah, sinasakyan namin. Pero yun ang casual horseback riding. Yun naman professional na equestrian.
Okay.
It's fun.
So, meron pa ba, ma'am?
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So, yun po. Thank you po for the viewers po ng ATI Bicol Sarabay Channel. Humahataw na pananim, High Value Crops Hour. Thank you po for the time, Ma'am Luis. So, maraming salamat po, ma'am, for the time and effort na i-assist us and i-show din or ipakita din po sa ating mga viewers and then sa mga young enthusiasts, sa mga farmer enthusiasts po natin yung best practices po ninyo sa farm and then yung mga experiences mo na talaga makaka-motivate sa ating mga viewers. So thank you so much for that, ma'am. So sa ating mga viewers, stay tuned lang po kayo once again. Huwag po kayong hihiwalay po sa ATI Bicol Sarabay Channel. Makikita nyo pa po at masusubaybayan nyo pa po si Ma'am Luis sa mga susunod na araw para po sa another topic naman po on cacao production. So next episode po will be on the cacao production, yung cultural management practices po na ginagawa po dito sa San Fernando, nila Ma'am Luis. And susunod po na mga araw ay yung pagdating naman sa pag-process. Paano po ba yung pagproseso po ng ating kakao and yung possible market po nito? Saan po ba natin ito ibenta? Si Ma'am kasi ay parang may international market na po ito. So baka pwede po kayong matulungan ni Ma'am na ibenta yung ating mga products not only in the locality, not only in our community, dito sa bansa, but of course sa labas po ng bansa. So yan po yung kagandahan na meron po tayong collaboration. So with that, maraming salamat po and good afternoon po sa lahat. Thank you, Ma'am.
Thank you.